The PhilSecNet Pandemic Resilience Award hopes to share with the public how to deliver the services of eCenters without compromising the safety of the community and the center managers. This also hopes to inspire others to continue delivering their services despite the pandemic. The award categories include Social Welfare and Rehabilitation, Support for Teachers and Students, Rescue Operation and eGov Services. For the guidelines, the award is open to all types of eCenter initiatives that are operating since September 2019. The eCenter must be an active member of PhilSecNet. Nominated eCenter must be operational during the implementation of Enhanced Community Quarantine or General Community Quarantine until the present. Entries for the awarding will be based on nominations by an individual or an organization with sufficient knowledge to endorse the eCenter. Self-nominations will also be accepted. For submission, interested participants must submit a duly accomplished nomination form. Supporting materials such as pictures, brochures, news clippings, testimonials, and video clips may also be submitted. The nomination should cover accomplishments made within the period of March 2020 until September 2020. Nomination for the award should be sent to secretariat@philsecnet.org with the subject 2020 Pandemic Resilience with the eCenter name indicated. Nomination period is within the month of October. Deadline for the submission of nominees is on October 30. Awarding will be on November 26. All entries will be subjected to pre-qualification by the organizers. All validated entries will be evaluated by a panel of judges to be appointed by PhilSecNet and DICT. The contest will follow these criteria. Socioeconomic impact of the eCenter, 35%. Innovativeness, 30%. Productivity, 20%. Partnership and networking, 15%. Application forms are available upon request. You may email us at secretariat@philsecnet.org.
You are now watching the 15th Knowledge Exchange Conference with the theme, eCenters in the Digital Philippines for the New Normal. Today is our 8th training webinar titled Networking and Partnership, October 15, 2020, streaming live over YouTube. Good morning! Maayong buntag! Assalamualaikum! Buenos dias! Magandang umaga! Naimbag nga aldaw, magandang buhay! Welcome everyone to KEC 15. My name is Rona Monet Pinera and I will be your host for today. KEC is a gathering of community e-center forerunners, centers of excellence, ICT for development enthusiasts, government and industry leaders, academe, and all involved in making ICT available to communities to exchange ideas, best practices, relevant solutions, and success stories. Again, good morning, everyone. So, we are now live on YouTube. May I greet everyone from different parts of the world? Let's see in our comment box from where you are today. Okay, good morning, everyone, from Ma'am Zenaida Hamero from Butuan City. Hi. Ma'am Juby Lawan from Pagadian, and to all others from San Fabian, Pangasinan, City of Valencia, Bukidnon, Daet Camarines Norte, Tobias Fournier, Antique, Mahinog Camiguin. How about the others? So continue commenting down below your location. La Union, Catarman, Northern Samar, Laguna, Iligan City, Antipolo, Malaybalay, St. Bernard, Butuan, Quezon City, Villanueva, Misamis Oriental, La Castellana, and Algeria. Okay, so keep greeting everyone. And this webinar was organized by the Philippine Community eCenter Network Incorporated, or the PhilTechNet, in cooperation with the Department of Information and Communications Technology, the DICT, with support from the UP Open University, the Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic and Natural Resources, Research and Development of the DOST, the local governments of Tayabas, Quezon, and San Remigio, Cebu, as well as the Asian Institute of Journalism and Communication, the AIJC, with special thanks to our sponsors, PLDT and Quezon Power Limited. Now let's watch these short infomercials.
Mahigit sa 20,000 na ang confirmed.
Kailangan ng PPE
Isa sa ilalim na ang Metro Manila sa...
Wala na. Wala munang mga food court at fiesta. Meron namang lutong bahay. Wala munang window shopping. Meron namang free shipping. Wala munang happy hour. Pero may isang oras pa. Tulog pa tayo. Wala muna yung aircon at only coffee sa office. Pero andyan yung dream office mate natin. Biruin mo, wala munang quiz night, band night, samgyup night, pati videoke night. Pero meron ng time sa family night. Wala na munang pasyalan, wala na munang bakasyunan. Okay lang siguro mawala lahat ng yon. Huwag lang ito. Kasi may mga bagay na walang kapalit. May mas mahalaga ba dito? Wala. Rediscover what matters. Rediscover home.
And so we're back. Magandang umaga, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, and other parts of the world. Thank you for joining us today. Send the link to your colleagues now and drop your comments. Send us your greetings and location, and make this 2-hour session interactive. This year, with the hashtag KEC15 goes virtual with a series of webinars every Thursday, 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. from August 20 to November 26, 2020. That's 3 months of knowledge sharing. These webinars are absolutely free. Yes, you heard that right. It's absolutely free. It is PhilTechNet's contribution in the country's fight against the COVID-19 pandemic through enabling, strengthening, and facilitating the digital transformation of communities. Now, in order for you to join, all you need is to register just once for the entire conference. Yes, just once for the entire conference. Now, if you haven't registered yet, no worries with that because you may find the link on the description box below. Yes, you may click it down below. Click the link so that you can register today. All right? Now to participate in the open forum, you will need to post questions through an open forum form. Please find the link again inside the description box below. We currently have 66 participants. Is that right? Let's see. Let's check our participants in YouTube. Yes, we have 60 plus participants in YouTube. So please do share the link of this live stream to your colleagues so that we can share more knowledge to other people today, right? Okay. Now, it will be difficult to pick up your questions for the speaker later. So if you have questions for our speaker, please do post your questions through the link below, not on the live chat. Okay, so we have again 3 links, one for the registration, another one for the open forum, and also for the certificates. The certificates will also be made available after providing us your feedback. It includes a short quiz, just a short one, so that we can see how well you understood the topic. So please do listen attentively and pay attention. The link to the feedback form is in the description box below, but it will be made open towards the end of the webinar. Again, just some reminders for you to join. We have the link for the registration, the open forum, and the certificate. So you may all find it down the description box below. We will also draw raffle prizes today. Some of the last week's prizes were not claimed, so that we are adding them today. A total of 8 lucky winners are going to get cash prizes worth 500 pesos each. Okay, so all registered participants from the opening webinar last August 20 until today have one chance to win for the entire conference. So keep commenting down on the live stream and inform your colleagues so that we may possibly pick one of the winners from those who are commenting. So just keep on greeting us there, okay? And then, in order for you to claim your prize, you must send us an email to the secretariat at philsecnet.org before the end of this webinar. Use the email subject raffle claim dash your complete name. Again, to claim your prize, email us at secretariat at philsecnet.org with the email subject raffle claim dash your complete name. Of course, you have to send us your bank details with the name of your bank and your account number. Remember to send using the same email address you used to register. Again, you don't need to register for each webinar. You only have to register once for the entire conference, and you will receive a separate link to each webinar via email. Okay, so much for the reminders. I hope you guys took note of it so that when you saw your name later as one of the winners, you can send us an email right away. Okay, without further ado, I would like to introduce to you our moderator for today, who will also introduce our resource person. Now, may I ask to those of you attending live on YouTube, are you guys ready? So comment down, yes, I'm ready to learn. So that the speaker will also see and she'll get excited to know you more. Okay? Our moderator is an instructional design consultant for distance education with 11 years work experience on flexible learning, national and international through Simyo Inotech. 14 years combined work experience as professional teacher, educational manager, and school head. 11 years of experience as part-time university lecturer, consultant for Quality Systems Manual for Philippine Association for Professional Regulatory Board Members Incorporated, and Professional Regulation Commission from September 2019 to present. Books author, and editor, on-call trainer, resource person of DBPI and Mary Lindbergh International. He is also a technopreneur at Ideal Prime Ventures International Incorporated. He has served as consultant to various organizations like the Professional Regulation Commission and the Philippine Association of Regulatory Board Members Incorporated, UNESCO National Consultant Philippines, MFIT Values Education, UNESCO Bangkok, and IIEP UNESCO Paris. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of PhilSecNet's board members representing the Asian Institute of Journalism and Communication, none other than Professor Pierangelo B. Alejo.
Why, thank you, Engineer Rana, for such a modest introduction. Well, for today's webinar, we now discuss networking and partnerships. By the end of this webinar, participants are expected to, first, generate stakeholder support by involving them in all eCenters activities. Second, raise sufficient funds from donors such as agencies, government, and other users, or a combination of these. And third, plan and implement a communication program wherein all activities of the eCenter are provided and well disseminated. And
Oh, may I continue? On the fourth part, to ensure that all stakeholders, including the marginalized persons with disabilities and special needs sector, are reached. Establish strong partnerships to promote eCenters projects and programs. Now, without further delay, please allow me to introduce our resource person. Our resource person is the center manager of Mlang eCenter since 2009. They have conducted various research and extension programs and services related to ICT and was the first DG Bayani awardee in the Philippines, Digital Inclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, one of PhilSecNet's newly elected board member, please welcome Dr. Mary Ann A. Cortado.
Good morning.
Good morning, Doc Mary Ann.
Yes, good morning, Philippines. Good morning, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And welcome po sa ating webinar for today. The topic is about networking and partnership. And I am very much happy this morning to share with you how our Mlang Tech4ED Center has able to implement its programs and services effectively to its target clientele by means of networking and partnership. So, I'm going to start first with my topic about networking and partnership. It has a biblical reference coming from the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 18. The Lord God has said, It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make him a helper suitable for him. And this reference is being reinforced by Dick Chopra as he says, giving connects two people, the giver and the receiver, and this connection gives birth to a new sense of belonging. Now, before we are going further to our specific topics this morning, we would like to define first what is networking and what is partnership for us to be able to have a clearer understanding about the topic. Now, when we talk about networking, it is the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional or social contacts. Now, for the partnership, it is an arrangement where parties known as business partners agree to cooperate to advance their mutual interests. The partners in a partnership, it may be individuals, businesses, interest-based organizations, schools, governments, or its combinations. The specific topics which we are going to tackle for today is number one. This has been already mentioned by our moderator. First is generating stakeholder support. The second is raising sufficient funds. Number three is planning and implementing communication program. The number four, which we are going to tackle, is ensuring to reach all stakeholders. And number five, or the last topic, is the establishing strong partnership. It is of our common knowledge that success lies on the support of our stakeholders. Without our stakeholders, we could not achieve our mission, goals, and objectives. Now, how are we going to generate stakeholder support? We are confronted with a question: what is the most effective way to generate stakeholder support? First is we have to create a friendly environment because people trust their friends. Now, if you are looking for a doctor, you probably search for physicians covered by your healthcare insurance. You then look at ones with offices near your home. After that, it's a matter of looking at reviews to see one that may be a good fit. But if you have a very strong recommendation from a family member or a friend, the chances are very high that you will choose the recommended doctor. The other one is we should be able to effectively influence others. Why? Because stakeholders trust influencers. The same is true of stakeholders that may be impacted by your business or your services. For our clients who are embarking on building a new project, expansion of services, or entry into the market, the first thing we recommend is getting to know the people who will be impacted or benefited from your project. If you have treated the stakeholders fairly and with respect and demonstrated goodwill, that information will be passed along to others. So you talk to people with connections and credibility about what you are doing, why you are doing, and how it will be benefited to the community. Now, so what does it take to engage stakeholders for improved outcome? So there are so many things to be taken care of. So the number one is the staff must take the lead to provide the stakeholders the data and other information they need to be productive partners around the eCenter achievements. Then another one, partnership activities must be directly aligned with eCenter achievement goals. Next, efforts must be collaborative and genuine. Information sharing must be transparent. All parties must operate from common values and a common vision for each center achievement. And the last, all efforts must be mission-oriented and data-driven. Now, after you have generated your stakeholders' support from your community, the next step that your eCenter is facing is how are you going to raise funds effectively? So first and foremost is how are we going to value our donor over the donation? So it's like what we call a chicken and the golden egg story. If all you care about is the golden eggs and neglect the chicken will either starve or fly away, leaving you with no more than golden eggs. So in practical terms, if you're so focused on the money that you neglect your donors and their needs, they'll soon stop giving. So we have to value our donor over donation. Then it's all about engagement. If people don't feel like part of your team, they won't give. If they are not inspired by your request for money, they won't give. And if they feel like you all do is show up with your hand out, they won't give. So there are 3 steps to create a sustainable funding according to Sandy Risk. So number 1 is build a big loyal donor base. Now to raise the money, you need to fully fund your annual budget. You need a large donor family full of people who give because they love the work your nonprofit or your services do. When you have that large donor family and you take good care of them, they'll open and give big donations. The next is building a donor base is like building a snowball. So building a donor base is like building a big snowball for the base of a snowman. Why? In the beginning, you'll add snow a handful at a time and it grows slowly. Then once you can start rolling it through the yard, it will grow much faster and reach the size you want in no time. Another is you have to master your message, and this is very much important. Now, in order to get a donation, you need to say something that will inspire people to give. So, in other words, you need an inspiring message that attracts people like moths to a flame. Boring, self-centered, jargony messaging turns people off. Simple, compelling messaging inspires people to give. So let us inspire our donors to give. The next thing is the nurture the donor relationship. Your donor needs to trust you to give you money. So you need to build trust with your donors. Now, after that you have generated support from your community and you have able to raise funds for your community e-center or Tech4ED Center programs and activities, the next thing that you should do is to plan and implement a communication program. You should have a communication plan which defines as the approach that the program will use to communicate with communities. Now, what are the 9 steps in order to address the key aspects that programs should consider? First, or the number 1 is identify your objectives. Stating your objectives will keep the communication plan focused. Written objectives can be shared with other staff so they understand why the communication plan is important to the program's success. Number 2 is choose your target audiences. Just like in an international relief and development, we often refer to the community. In reality, no community is homogeneous, and that is correct. because communities are made up of women, men, girls and boys, different social economic groups, youths and the elderly, people with disabilities or PWDs, your local leaders, community-based organizations and government leaders or members, as well as the program participants and non-participants. Number three is design your key messages. Identifying your key messages will help you distill the information that is critical for achieving your objectives. The next is number four, select your communication methods. How are you going to select your communication methods? It's your context, objectives, and target audience will determine what communication methods will be most suitable. So ideally, you should aim to prioritize 2 to 4 key methods with a combination of oral and written methods. Number five, plan for a two-way communication. Two-way communication provides dialogue and allows organizations to gather ideas, suggestions, and feedback from target communities. This can help you adjust your programs to better fit people needs. You can gather feedback formally, for example, during community meetings or via help desk or hotline, or informally as part of other activities. Number six is establish your time frame, and this is very much important. Communication at all stages of the program is important. People need to be informed about key developments so they will be able to make the most of the program. You should communicate with community members throughout the program, especially before starting key activities, before making changes to the program, and upon if there are encountering delays. Number seven is draft a budget. Budget is very much important. Depending on your budget, you may need to be more strategic about when to invest in expensive communication methods such as mass media. Many methods are expensive, such as sharing information at community meetings, creating simple posters, and working with communities. Number eight is implement the plan. You may need to use a variety of activities in order to roll out your communication plan. The activities must be one time, per unit, or ongoing. And the last is monitor the results and look for ways to improve. So review your communication plan during and after its implementation and look for ways to improve. How did people receive your message and how did they respond? Now you have all the stakeholders. Now, the most important thing is we have to ensure to reach all our stakeholders. So what are the innovative ways to reach out our stakeholders? Maybe it is through web-based communication. So through web-based communication is defined as the sharing of information, words, or ideas over a network of computers known as the internet. Online webinars, just like this, are an example of the web-based communication. Number two, supported by printed materials and email. And the number three, you should be able to reach out your target audiences, the beneficiaries of your program, the other stakeholders involved in the program, or the general public. Now, how are we going to target and to make sure that we have reached our stakeholders, especially if we are operating in the community? For us, the Mlang Tech4ED Center has able to reach out all of the sectors in our community, particularly the marginalized sectors, those who really need our services. For example, in our community, we have able to reach out the self-employed with sufficient income, the marginalized and the landless farmers. We are talking about the farmer sector. Also, the marginalized officer folks, the unpaid family workers. Of course, we also identified the women, the youth, the low minimum wage earners and seasonal workers, including also the displaced workers as a result of a natural disaster. Also, displaced workers are as a result of closure of establishment due to retrenchment. Persons with disabilities, the persons with disabilities, including the senior citizen, the indigenous people, the parents or guardians of child laborers, the rebel returnees, the victims of armed conflict. We also included the students, teachers, researchers, as well as our returning OFWs during our time of the pandemic crisis, because there are many OFWs who are coming now back here in the Philippines, the distressed and the displaced OFWs. The success of the implementation of our programs and activities lies on how are we going to establish strong partnership with our stakeholders. Now let us be reminded of the principles of the partnership. Number one is trust. Trust is the simplest principle to explain, but it is the most important principle and the one that holds all the others together. Because without trust, there will not be an effective professional partnership, public service partnership, or any other endeavors. Mutuality, the sharing of a feeling, action, or relationship between two or more parties. Mutuality is seen as a means of creating a win-win situations for the parties involved and is considered a success factor for effective partnership. Then the solidarity, unity or agreement of feeling or action, especially among individuals with a common interest, mutual support within a group. And then the last is the accountability. Partners should be accountable to one another, respect each other's autonomy and constraints, and strive to foster a climate of mutual trust in all their partnership activities. If there is accountability, there is also a what we call commitment and dedication. Okay? So, what are the rationale behind for the partnership? It is very much important that we should understand the importance for the partnership. And according to Brainmark 2000, first is shared experiences and expertise. Each partner can bring knowledge and skills to the task at hand. So in other words, no one is in the monopoly of good ideas. And there's a saying that two heads are better than one. Next is the mutual support. When circumstances are difficult, partnership provides mutual support to persist in efforts to achieve goals. So helping one another, benefiting each other parties, and that is what we call the mutual support. Next is what we call the division of labor. Collaboration can allow partners to concentrate on the tasks that they do best. The tasks which one partner can do best are not necessarily the ones that other partners can do. So in this situation, division of labor permits all sides to gain. Increased resources. When each partner brings resources to the common forum, the total availability of resources is increased. These resources can be human and material as well as financial. Also, increase of ownership. So when people work together on a task, they are more likely to feel a sense of ownership than if someone else performs the task for them. Extended reach. For the extended reach, different partners, we have voices in different places. So that can extend the reach of initiatives. Increased effectiveness. So when partners come together, they each bring their own perspectives. They may help each other to bring obstacles to effective implementation of programs and ways around those obstacles. And then the last is what we call evaluation and monitoring. When partners have links to different sectors of society, they can complement each other's efforts in assessing the impact of programs. This information can be used to make necessary adjustments and improve impacts. Okay, so not all partnerships are successful. Why? Because there are other times that there are conflicts that occur in a partnership. So why is there that conflict occurs in a partnership? So we have identified the sources of conflicts in a partnership. It may be the value disagreements. Protracted conflict sometimes results from a clash between differing worldviews. One group's most fundamental and cherished assumptions about the best way to live may differ radically from the values held by another group. So parties may have different standards of rightness and goodness and give fundamentally different answers to serious moral questions. So when groups have different ideas about the good life, they often stress the importance of different things and may develop radically different or incompatible goals. And this can lead also to conflict. Number two is what we call personality conflicts. A personality clash occurs when two or more people find themselves in conflict not over a particular issue or incident, but due to a fundamental incompatibility in their personalities, their approaches to things, or also their style of life. Communication understandings also occur. Why? Because miscommunication often stems from a misalignment of explicit and implicit meaning between the sender and receiver. Some people are straightforward, others expect you to read between the lines. Doubts about priority need for partnership. Having doubts about your partner's ability to be open and honest is a relationship flag that should not be ignored. When someone is chronically dishonest and it is affecting a relationship, it's important to address it. Talk about the problem externally, addressing the behavior rather than the person, and talk about how it affects you in the relationship. Other one is confusion over differing degrees of members' autonomy. Okay, this sometimes happen. And of course, there's about different power interests. Okay, now, how are we going to build a strong partnership in order for us to be successful in the implementation of our programs and the services? Okay, the first is we have to set clear expectations. You should have a strong connection with the business you partner or the services that you are going to partner with, but hammering out the details of that partnership has to be more technical than emotional. So in other words, we should be objective rather than emotional. So for your partnership to succeed, you must give every partner a specific title with clearly defined responsibilities. Number two is consider your partner a part of your team. Clear and well-defined rules ensure there will be no overlap in offerings that could generate competition between you and your partner. Such conflicts are a significant reason why up to 80% of the partnerships eventually fail. It may temporarily delay the partnership, but you'll both flourish if you take time to thoroughly integrate each other into your teams. Number three is give the partnership room to grow. Remember, you're not just pooling resources. You're also combining your abilities to scale as quickly as possible. A valuable partnership should be capable of sharing resources and adapting over time. And number four, which is very much important is that make honesty and transparency your watchwords. Establishing a successful partnership and ensuring it has the ability to grow are essential, but they don't guarantee that you will succeed. Long-term success also requires honesty and transparency from both partners. That means maintaining open and frequent communication as well as personal interaction as often as possible. So we need to communicate with our partners to ensure a very successful partnership, whatever or whoever that may partner with you, especially in the implementation of the programs and services in your Tech4ED Center. Now, in closing, I would like to share with you, okay, a statement coming from Henry Ford that coming together is a beginning and keeping together is progress and working together is success. And I would like to share with you a video presentation from our Mlang Tech4ED Center that even during the pandemic crisis, we have able to reach out the sectors and we have able to implement our programs and services through partnership and networking with other agencies as well as the offices of the local government unit Mlang and all the stakeholders in our community. Please watch our video.
Mlang Tech4ED Center was established in the year 2009 under the leadership of the former mayor, Honorable Lucilito F. Piñol, and managed by Dr. Mera and A. Curtado. It offers various kinds of services such as IT-led Rise Education Program, digital literacy, employment facilitation, livelihood assistance, tourism information, and values development. The target beneficiaries of the program are PWDs, women, solo parents, senior citizens, unemployed, distressed OFWs, farmers, IPs, out-of-school youth, job seeker, displaced worker, and informal sector. With the recent COVID-19 pandemic crisis, the declaration of community quarantine, whether enhanced or general in nature, has created disruption to socio-economic way of life of the people. In order to be responsive to the need of the people during pandemic, the Mlang Tech4ED Center has collaborated with the different national agencies and other offices, the local government unit of Mlang offering its IT facilities for the online and online services. Its computer facilities were used by the Municipal Social and Welfare Development Office for the encoding of the beneficiaries to Social Amelioration Program of the Department of Social and Welfare Development. Its internet connectivity was utilized by the Public Employment Services Office to upload online application of the affected business establishment for the CAMP or COVID-19 Adjustment Measure Program and tulong panghanap buhay sa mga displaced worker of the Department of Labor and Employment. The Mlang Tech4ED Center also catered displaced land-based and sea-based Filipino worker affected by coronavirus to apply online with the DOLE ACAP for OFWs.
Good afternoon po. Ako po si Aljumayla Eman ng Romeo Rodrigo Senior Memorial Colleges Incorporated. Nakatanggap po kami ng cash assistance sa Department of Labor and Employment COVID-19 Adjustment Measure Program na ina-applyan sa ng mga private establishment sa pamamagitan ng Tech4ED Center ng Mlang. Malaking tulong po ito sa amin noong panahon ng pandemya ng COVID-19. Maraming salamat po ulit sa inyo, Department of Labor, Employment at Mlang Tech4ED Center.
Ako si Gerson Castellanes Dalumpines, isang school administrator ng Central Mindanao Computer School na nakabilang sa mga tulungan ng DOLE Camp, COVID-19 Adjustment Measure Program, na inaplayan online sa pamamagitan ng Mlang Tech4ED Center. Papasalamat po ako at ang aking mga kasamahan sa tulong na natanggap sa panahon ng pandemya. Maraming salamat, Tech4ED Center.
Okay na. I'm Maria Jane Solis, the Municipal Social Welfare and Development Officer of the Local Government Unit of Mlang. I would like to express our thanks especially to the Mlang Tech4ED Center. We are happy that we have this center in the local government unit of Mlang, because in the implementation of the social amelioration program of our Heal as One program in fighting the pandemic COVID-19 crisis that we are facing until today, we have made use of this center in our local government unit, wherein the staff of the center had helped a lot in the preparation for the implementation of the SAP, because with the presence of the computers that we have in this center, it has given us a great help. We were trying to have problems, especially that we have timelines in implementing the social amelioration program of our government, especially in the printing of forms. In the municipality of Mlang, we were given the slot of 16,349, and this will only be done in a very short span of time. And so we have to ask the help of all our other offices in the local government unit, and one of that is the availability of our Mlang Tech4ED Center. So we would like to express our thanks to our Center Manager, Dr. Ann Cortado, for opening the center in helping us to print the forms for our social amelioration program. So with the presence of her staff to work sometimes overtime just to cope up with the timeline, we have reached the goal of printing the forms of 16,349 so that we can immediately provide the SAC forms to our beneficiaries in the 37 barangays of Mlang. So with this, we are really grateful to our municipal mayor, the Honorable Russell Abonado, our Vice Mayor, Silito F. Peñol, and the members of the Sangguniang Bayan, who also had a great part in their great support for the implementation of the SAP program, and also for the support that the local government unit had established what we call the Mlang Tech4ED Center. And with this, with the programs that are given by our government through the Municipal Social Welfare and Development, we would like to really give thanks to the support of this center that we have in the municipality of Mlang. Thank you very much.
Mayong adlaw sa inyong matanan. Ako si Kapitan Manuel Aquiles, ang Barangay Poblasyon B ng Cotabato. Sa karong panahon, pasalamat ako sa Mlang Tech4ED Center sa pag-facilitate sa atong programa nga tulong paghanap buhay sa mga disadvantaged sector na ginatawag naton nga tupad. Ang programa na ini nakatabang sing dako sa ato diri sa Barangay Poblasyon B, especially sa tunga panahon amugid ato ang pagdako sa kaso sa COVID-19 diri sa Pilipinas as well as diri sa aton nga probinsya tag as well as diri man sa aton Barangay Poblasyon B. Ang tupad nga gi-facilitate sa Mlang Tech4ED Center nagtabang sa pag-augment sa aton bipat diri sa Barangay Poblasyon B para masuppress naton ang pagdako sa kaso sa COVID-19, pinaagi sa pag-disinfect sa mga tao nga nagsulod kag nagagawas gawas diri sa aton nga barangay. So pinaagi sa tungtupad nga to, nagkakakuha kita sa additional money para magbantay sa aton nga boundaries between Barangay Inas, Barangay Poblasyon A, Barangay Dugo, as well as Barangay Tumbuan. Ang ating mga pipa nag-augment sa itong mga panahon sa mga checkpoint nato para mag-disinfect sa mga tao nga nagasurul diri sa aton nga barangay para ma-ensure naton ang safety nga tanan nga tao diri sa aton sa barangay naton free sa COVID-19 nga kaso. So very thankful gid ako nga nag-abot sa Barangay Poblasyon B ang programa sa tupad nga gi-facilitate sa Mlang Tech4ED Center. Kay na-lessen ng burden sa barangay, wala na kayo kami nag-gasto pa sa dako para sining pagkatubang sining problema. Kay tungod ara ang tabang sa gobyerno pinaagi sa tupad. Madamo bigay salamat sa Mlang Tech4ED Center.
Okay, ngayon nga ako sa Tanano, ako din si Chris Bilbao, barangay captain sa Poblasyon A, Unported Cotabato. At the same time, I am the Liga ng Barangay President, Mlang Chapter. So, we are here this afternoon sa programa sa MODI, which is stands for the tulong o hanap buhay sa mga disadvantaged sector. It stands for TIPAD. Isa ang Poblasyon ay nakabilisyo. Ang nakabilisyo ang mga nakakot ng mga TIPAD, no? Di katao. Nakulit ko mga pasalamat sa MODI, no? Nag-implementaman sa Mlang Tech4ED Center, no? Sa panahon sa COVID, ang mga tao, nakuha siya kabuli kay 300 per day, 326 per day, no, ang hinahatag sa MODI. So within 10 days, naka 3,620 sila. 3,260, no. Gani sa liwat pinasalamatan, no. Kami mo sa to sa tulpan sa mga bibat ko, nag-disinfect sila sa matagabi, tungkol sila sa fire, no. Ang hinimo nila, 2 person per night sila tungkol sa fire na nag-disinfect sa Mlang Public Market. So, thank you very much sa program namin sa MODI, no. At sa Mlang Tech4ED Center, especially kay kayong program, kailangan niya kayong Portado. Salamat din sa inyo katanan sa pag-uwi. Thank you very much.
Ako si Hervino Piparen, Presidente sa PWD na Association. At the same time, Presidente sa Cotabato PWD Provincia. It is a great opportunity na nakatern ang po sa regarding na nakahagal sa babae regarding sa information para malipinsaan ang coronavirus na. Nagpapasalamat po sa COVID-19 at ang piso program sa MODI through Tech4ED nga makaabir ang PWD na Association Incorporated sa sining ng programa sa
With the new normal, the future plan of the local government unit of Mlang is to establish an online job program right here in our municipality in partnership with the Department of Information and Communications Technology, with the support of our local officials and other stakeholders, and with the providence of our Almighty God. I do believe this thing will become possible. To God be all the glory.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Ann Cortado, for that video featuring the municipality of Malang in Cotabato, and for your presentation discussing with us how networking and partnership works. Thank you for such a cerebral and technical presentations in terms of principles and theories.
Thank you so much, sir. So we need really a scientific basis on how are we going to implement our programs and services efficiently and effectively in our area of assignment. So it should be scientific based, it should be data driven, and it should be demand driven in order for us really to address what are the needs of the different sectors in our community.
That's right, Dr. Ann. I agree very much with you, especially basing these sharing of knowledge, or especially if they are data driven. Yes, I agree with you with that. And in fact, in your discussion, in your presentation, you made mention earlier that not all partnerships are successful. Your topic on networking and partnerships is personally for me is very very interesting, because not only are we traditionally attuned attuned to the nuances of networking and partnership, and yet there are many negative experiences, like the first word networking. Many people who think differently have negative connotation or negative uh, first impression about the concept and the term itself, networking. And then partnership, on the other hand, as a more general term, a more ordinarily used term, has many positive first impressions, and yet there are unsuccessful partnerships. So in your discussions, there is a mounting interest. There is a mounting interest in the topic of networking and partnership. So we move on now to the open forum. Let's have the first question, shall we? Here, we have a question. What are the tips, or what is your advice, the advice that you can give to our staff and eCenter managers in maximizing and giving more value to networking and partnership?
Okay, so that is a very good question, because based on my experience as a Tech4ED Center manager since 2009, it's almost 11 years that I have been managing the eCenter in our community. I realized that in order to have an effective partnership and networking is you have to be very sincere, especially in the implementation of our program. Now, how are we going to build sincerity? Is first is you have to build trust. Okay? But trust po ay hindi po natin yan makukuha no, in a one-night stand. It is a product of service of the partnership that you have implemented the program together, and the results are very positive. So that is why my advice for my Tech4ED centers, that the first thing and foremost is you have to make things happen. You have to be very, very sincere. You have to build trust, meaning to say that you have to deliver the service. You have to deliver whatever commitment that you have signified with your partner. Or else otherwise, if the first, for example, if you have implemented the program and for the first time experience that you have not delivered your services, the next time that a certain agency will no longer communicate with you, will no longer propose a program with you, and will not interested to partner with you anymore because of the sad experiences.
Thank you, Dr. Cortado. But as a follow-up question, have you experienced it yourself when, as an eCenter manager, Tech4ED Center manager, despite the trust and the respect given to you as a Tech4ED Center manager or as a professional? I'm sure you may or may not have experienced this, but I'm sure our viewers right now from as far as Algeria and different provinces would like to know from you. Had you any experience that even despite the respect, the professionalism, the trust afforded to you ordinarily, and then when you come to the table to talk with a meeting of minds, still you will pick up one or two negative words or feeling that your networking talk, your partnership discussion is being tinged with a tiny paint or hue of negativity, like distrust or mistrust. Maybe you're just scamming us or what? No, especially networking. Any reaction to this?
Yeah, I have also encountered, with that, negative experience. But what I am doing, sir, is if I can go into partnership, is that I have that what we call a backup plan. Okay, say for example, I have one experience. No, one time there was one group who wanted to partner with me, but then the start of the program implementation, it seems that the responsibilities, are not taken care of. So what I am doing is based on my experience is that you should have a backup plan. Say, for example, if your partner will not deliver his or her responsibility, still you can implement the program to your target clientele. So, well, and that's normal in life that you cannot please 100% people. So you have to accept that. But provided at the end of the day, you have to be very positive in your life that at the end of the day that you have reached, that you have attained your objectives, that you have able to deliver services to your target clientele, especially the marginalized sector, as long as you are doing your best. So I think that is the essence of partnership.
Excellent. Well said, Dr. Ann. Thank you. We now move on to the second question from our viewers and listeners nationwide. Here's a question. Why do you usually connect with, or maybe who do you usually connect with in raising funds for your eCenter or Tech4ED Center?
Okay, so that is a very good question. We as Tech4ED Center managers know that the eCenter has meager resources. We have only limited budget. As much as we wanted to implement all our plans, as much as we want to implement this program to all the sectors in the community, but if you don't have a budget, then you can do nothing. So what I am doing, because I am at the local government unit of Mlang, is first, you talk to your local chief executive, ang mayor po natin. Because the local chief executive has the power not to finance all the needed resources of your program if you can convince your local chief executive. But you can only convince your local chief executive if the program that you're implementing has impacted to the people in the community. So aside from the local chief executive, I also lobby with the legislative body of our local government unit because as much as we want to implement the programs, there are times that there are policies, there are ordinances that we need, no, for the mayor authorizing our local chief executive to implement the program. Without the legislative action, you cannot do all of these things. So that is why, aside from your local chief executive, you have also to connect with the legislative body in the local government unit of Mlang, because aside from the executive support, you have also the legislative support, so that these two bodies can finance your project effectively. So this is what I am doing, not only in the local chief executive, not only in the legislative body of the local government unit Umlang, I also connect with other national agencies. No, we have many different national agencies which we can partner. Say, for example, for the for for example, the Department of Labor and Employment, no, for its CAMP program, for its TUPAD, and that is during pandemic crisis, and also for extending services to the distressed and displaced OFWs, those OFWs who have who their work was affected because of this pandemic 19 crisis. So we were able to connect with the Department of Labor and Employment. The same also with the DSWD, because during the implementation of the enhanced community quarantine, there is a what we call the giving of the SAP, or social amelioration program. So it so happened that the eCenter has a lot of computers, and we have the connections. And the DSWD is in need of this, and they have to prepare all the documents because there is a time limit, there is a deadline. So they need really additional computer facilities, which they will work on the documents to be submitted to the regional office. So what I did as a community center manager, I was the one who volunteered. Mom, we have a lot of computers at the Mlang Tech4ED Center. You can use this, okay? And I am also giving my staff, including the participation of my staff, to encode all the master list of the sub beneficiaries in our municipality. And within a certain period of time, a short period of time, we have able to assist more than 16,000 beneficiaries of this of local government unit of Mlang. And I'm very much happy to note that in Region 12, that Mlang is one of the fastest as far as in the processing of papers, especially in the encoding of the SAP beneficiaries.
Okay, thank you. So it's good to hear that the Tech4ED some Tech4ED centers are part of the service in delivering the social amelioration program. And I picked up from your answer that the Tech4ED centers and eCenters are normally partnering with local government chief executives and the
Yes.
councilors, the legislative
Yes.
group body of the
Yes.
LGU in
Yes.
raising funds. Okay, okay. So, but is there any probability to equally, if not in part, develop raising funds in partnership with the local industries, private industries, and technopreneurs or entrepreneurs who are using technology in the area?
Yeah, I have experience that we have able to connect with the different entrepreneurs in our locality. So I have a very promising experience with them because they have resources. They have the readily available finances, especially if you are in need of finances to finance all your activities. But one thing is, you have to be sincere and you have to build trust with them, because if they don't trust with you, sir, and that's what I have experienced. If they don't trust with you and they could not depend you on the finances which they are going to share with you, most likely they won't give. So as a Tech4ED Center manager, first and foremost is you have to build trust. A trust
Okay.
not only in your local officials, but in the community as well. Because if they don't trust you, okay, the more would likely they are going to share their finances with you. And partnership, sir, is it's not only for the first time. It's not only for the second time. You have to nurture
Right.
it, okay? Just like a
Right.
friend, you are going to
Right.
nurture it. That as time goes on and on, the friendship begins closer
Have to
to
continue.
closer with each other.
Right.
So meaning to say, in partnership, you have to build connections. You have to
Right.
build relationship because at the end of
Yes.
the day, after all these programs and services, relationship really is counts. Not only in our
Wow.
personal life,
I
not only
love
in
that
our
very much.
personal life,
Relationship. Yeah.
but as a public servant. You have to
Yes.
nurture relationship with your community, with your stakeholders, with your donors, and you have also to communicate with the local chief executive and also the legislative body of the local government unit so that they are going to support you on whatever programs and services that you are going to implement the community because they do believe at the end of the day this program will really help the disadvantaged sector of the society. So that counts most,
Wow.
especially if we are going to raise funds for our Mlang Tech, for our Tech4ED
Yeah.
Center.
Amazing. Well said. I agree with you 100%. Is that an open invitation for us, for me to visit Cotabato very soon and reconnect
Yes, sir.
with my friends, the Babanos,
Yeah.
the late Dr. Babano, and the Dimaporos. I hope to visit Cotabato again.
Yeah, you're very much welcome, sir. And welcome also to Mlang Tech4ED Center if you happen to visit in our community. It's our pleasure.
Yes. Sure. Thank you very much. So, Dr. Ann, we have another question for you. Can we see the next question from Mr. Oliver Palalios, an educator? How to make partnership and networking sustainable?
Okay,
Dr. Ann.
I have already said that you have to build relationship. Okay, value the donor, not the money. Because the moment that you value most the money, not the donor, next time, whoever want to become a donor in your community, nobody will give you. So you have to nurture relationships. You have to communicate with them efficiently and effectively. And the secret is you communicate, communicate, communicate.
Amazing. That's a very good and poignant answer. Thank you, Dr. Ann. Our next question. How do you reach those stakeholders who do not have internet access?
So what I am doing is that in the municipality of Mlang, not all barangays have internet access. So what I am doing as a Tech4ED Center is that I am bringing the ICT closer to the people, meaning to say, I am the one going to the barrio. I am the one attending the barangay assembly in order to give information to the people. And I am the one giving orientation to this group of people. I am also volunteering myself every time there is a what we call activity, conferences, or there is an opportunity for me to give an information or to give an announcement, then I am the one volunteering myself. So as a Tech4ED Center manager, If you want to be productive and if you want to reach out, especially the stakeholders who do not have internet connection, you as a Tech4ED manager will not only sit at your table. Do not wait for your customers in the office, no, to come, but you go to the field. You go to the barangay so that you will know what are their situation, what are their needs, and you will know what's really happening in their community. And then you gather the data, because data is very much important, because you cannot plan, you cannot implement the program if you do not have a data. Then that's the time that you can implement the program for them. Now, I have an experience before, sir. Now, we have the IT community in Mlang. So they are residing, it's a far distant in our municipality, that they need a transportation. They are very much willing to attend to training conducted by the Mlang Tech4ED Center, but then because of the location is very far distant from them, so what I did is that I talked to the mayor. I went to the mayor's office. I wrote a letter that this group of people wanted to be trained at the Mlang Tech4ED Center, but they do not have a transportation vehicle. So when I went to the mayor, I consulted with them. I asked for a provision of a transportation vehicle. Then the mayor provided us the transportation vehicle. And then because of the transportation provided by the local government unit of Mlang, sir, I am very much happy to note that all IP community in the municipality of Mlang have already undergone ICT training in the municipality of Mlang. And with regards to the meals and snacks, okay? With regards to the meals and snacks, what I did is, of course, I talked to the legislative, of course, to the municipal councilors, because they wanted also to share their blessings. So I got it at the end of the day. I was able to connect with these people. I was able to provide their needs. I was able to provide their transportation vehicle, and I was able to provide the meals and snacks for them. And importantly, I was able to train them. I was able to empower them in the field of information and communications technology.
Wow, excellent, excellent, Dr. Ann. So what you're telling us now is that a Tech4ED center or eCenter manager must include in his or her communication plan not only a sole reliance on internet connectivity, email, and other technology-based communications, but also include a backup plan for personal, physical, face-to-face communication and contact in your information and education strategies in your communication plan. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. In other words, you have to bring the ICT closer to your people. If they cannot go to your center, you will be the one to go to them. You will be the one to connect with them.
Oh, wow. Very good. It's good to hear that there are people like you, this breed of leaders and managers who are willing to do the extra mile and really reach out to our constituents. Thank you, Dr. Ann. I believe we have a few more questions, a couple of questions left. Can we flash them? You mentioned earlier, this is very observant of him or her, because I noticed this also a while ago. Not all partnerships are successful. How does an eCenter handle this type of situation or failure?
Yeah. So I have experience, of course. I have also not that failure in terms of a partnership, but we have encountered what we call inconveniences. I call it inconveniences. Okay. So based on my experience, so what I am doing is always you should have a backup plan. If in case this number one fails, so this is another option. So that at the end of the day, you will not become frustrated. And if you have encountered failure, if you have encountered some inconveniences, do not worry. That's part of a life of a center manager. Okay? So that will form a lesson in your life because experiences forms the basis of learning. So the more you encounter inconveniences, the more you encounter a what we call difficulties, the more that you are going to prepare yourself, the more that you are going to look for ways and means. So that is why you should be resourceful. You should be initiative. You have to use your initiative that despite of the inconveniences, despite the failure of the other partner, but then you have been able to deliver services to your people. So do not worry if you encounter conveniences, sir, because you cannot please people all the time, and not all people can be depend on, or not all people are sincere enough. Okay? But then the most important thing is at the end of the day, because you love your work, as long as you have done your job well, as long as you have touched their people's lives, I think this will make you happy than frustrated with your partner. So
Thank you very much.
happiness is
So
more
thank
on
you,
giving.
Dr.
It's not taking.
Yes, yes. I
Because the
agree
more
so
you
much.
give, the more you give, the more blessings that you will have. So I think
All
that's
right.
yeah, that's the essence. That's the essence of being a Tech4ED Center manager. The joy
That's
of
right.
giving.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the more you give,
The
the
more you receive
more
blessings
the more
from,
you receive. Okay, from
and the
above.
more
Yeah.
and the more you learn, sir, because experience first the basis of learning. Experience is the best teacher in life.
Okay. So it reminded me of a song. The more you live, the more you love.
Yeah.
Because if you further extend your way of living, your existence here on earth with the blessings that you have, then probably it will
Yeah.
overflow with concern for others and to help others, especially those who are in need. That's why I really practically enjoyed listening to you explaining the backup plan and the reaching out, the actual reaching out, even if you are there already enjoying your laurels, your achievements, your education, your business, your connections, you still have time to meet the people, no? Meet the indigenous, meet the especially those who are disabled or differently able, the sick, the old, the marginalized. And the e-centers out there, the Tech4ED centers can do a lot really to improve the quality of life, the quality and level of communication of different people in their localities, in their communities. And how lovely it is to hear people like you, leaders like you, who can influence city mayors, no, and their councilors, no, to share a bit of their resources so that we can magnify the capabilities of the people in our communities through the Tech4ED centers, through the
Yes.
e-centers. Thank you very much, Dr. Ann.
Thank you, sir.
So that
And thank you for giving
that
for sharing.
thank you, ma'am. So that ends our open forum. Back to you, Engineer Rona.
Thank you so much, Doc Anna, Doc Ann, and Professor Alejo. That has been a wonderful conversation, right? Do you guys agree? I hope everyone learned a lot from our webinar. Special thanks to Doc Ann. Now let's proceed to the awarding of certificates. The 15th Knowledge Exchange Conference awards the Certificate of Appreciation to Dr. Mary Ann A. Cortado in recognition of her participation as a resource speaker in Networking and Partnership, live streamed on October 15, 2020 via YouTube live stream. Another one awards this certificate of appreciation to Professor Pierangelo Alejo in recognition of his participation as moderator in Networking and Partnership live stream on October 15, 2020 via YouTube live stream. Again, thank you so much, Doc Ann and Professor Alejo. Before we announce the winners for the raffle, may I send my love and appreciation to all of our actively participating viewers in YouTube. We are almost 100 today. And now, the moment we have been waiting for, we will now announce the winners of today's raffle draw. Just a quick reminder, in order for you to claim your prize, you must send an email to the secretariat at philsecnet.org before the end of today's webinar. So get your emails ready because we are about to end. So use the email subject raffle claim dash your complete name and send us your bank details together with the name of your bank and your account number. Remember to send using the same email address you used to register. Again, you don't need to register for each webinar. You only have to register once for the entire conference, and you will receive a separate link to each webinar. Now, the winners of the cash prizes worth 500 pesos are as follows. Let's see. First is Ruthil Marie S. Kadugdug, Miss Marian I. Barredo, Miss Susana A. Revita, and Miss Shirley T. Ayokdo. Congratulations to all of you. Because we will be awarding 8. Okay, so the next set of winners are Benro Pasis, Ms. Regine M. Canlapan, Mr. Glenn Sanchez, and Laarni Canero. Again, guys, congratulations. And now your email so that you can claim it. Okay, so before we finally end this webinar, if I may add, networking and partnership is indeed vital for the eCenters today. We are blessed to have Doc Ann to share us insights with regards to that topic today. Once again, thank you very much, Doc Ann and Prof. Alejo. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This concludes our 8th training webinar titled Networking and Partnership. As we come to close today's activity, please watch the closing video for a few more reminders.